Welcome to our Middle East briefing show, where we dive into the heart of current events with a touch of lightness to keep things engaging. Today, we're looking at a trio of stories that have caught the world's attention. First up, Oman is reeling from devastating flash floods that have claimed at least 17 lives, with the government taking emergency steps to mitigate the disaster. Then, we shift our focus to India, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi is eyeing a transformative third term amid controversies and widespread support, highlighting India's complex social and political landscape. Lastly, we're covering the wave of pro-Palestinian protests sweeping across the U.S., a powerful display of solidarity that's closing down major bridges and calling for an end to military support for Israel's actions in Gaza. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into these compelling stories. Please continue watching for detailed content. In a devastating turn of events, Oman has been hit by severe flash floods, leading to the tragic loss of at least 17 lives, as reported by CNN. The country, grappling with the aftermath, has seen extensive damage, prompting the government to suspend work in 5 governorates and close schools in 6. The relentless weather has not only disrupted daily life but has also initiated a series of rescue operations, with the forecast predicting continued rainfall. This natural disaster has shaken the nation, highlighting the unpredictable and often destructive power of nature. Halfway across the world, the shadows of the past loom large as a former Abu Ghraib detainee shares his harrowing experiences during a trial against a Virginia military contractor, according to the Associated Press. The emotional testimony brought back the grim reality of the abuse that occurred within the walls of the infamous prison. The recounting of beatings, humiliation, and threats paints a vivid picture of the human rights violations that shocked the world 2 decades ago. This trial not only seeks justice but also serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked power and the importance of upholding human dignity. In India, a nation of over a billion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi stands at the precipice of securing a transformative third term, CNN reports. Modi's tenure has been marked by significant infrastructure development, technological advancements, and a push towards making India a leading global power. However, his leadership has also been mired in controversy, particularly concerning religious divisions and allegations of promoting Hindu nationalism at the expense of minority rights. Critics argue that under Modi's watch, social inequalities have deepened, and religious persecution, especially against Muslims, has intensified. Despite these challenges, Modi's popularity remains unmatched, with a formidable approval rating that underscores his continued appeal among a large section of the Indian populace. Modi's political journey is a study in contrasts. From promising development and anti-corruption measures to being accused of complicity in the 2002 Gujarat riots, his career has been both celebrated and scrutinized. His re-elections, buoyed by a strong following, speak to his enduring influence and the hope many Indians place in his vision for the country. Yet, for India's minorities, the fear of marginalization looms large. Modi's policies, such as the abrogation of Kashmir's special autonomy and the introduction of a contentious citizenship law, have sparked debates about India's secular fabric being under threat. The narratives emerging from Oman, Abu Ghraib, and India paint a complex picture of our contemporary world. They reflect the ongoing struggle against natural disasters, the fight for justice and human rights, and the contentious political landscapes that shape nations. Each story, whether it's the tragedy of flash floods, the quest for accountability in the face of human rights abuses, or the divisive yet transformative politics of Narendra Modi, offers a glimpse into the challenges and aspirations that define our global society. As we navigate these turbulent waters, the resilience of the human spirit and the relentless pursuit of a better, more inclusive world remain our guiding stars. In a spirited response to recent geopolitical tensions, the United States House of Representatives has taken a decisive step by passing a suite of bills aimed squarely at Iran, following a drone attack on Israeli targets. According to The Independent, this legislative package aims to tighten the screws on Iran by introducing sanctions against Chinese firms engaged with Iran's petroleum sector and mandating detailed reports on Iranian assets within the U.S. financial system. Garnering broad bipartisan support, these measures underscore a united front against Iran's aggressive postures. The move is part of a larger strategy to curtail Iran's influence in the Middle East, with further actions, including a resolution condemning Iran's support for militia groups, expected to unfold in the near future. However, the House has yet to address supplemental funding for Israel and Ukraine, a matter already advanced by the Senate. Meanwhile, the streets and iconic bridges of the United States have become stages for dramatic displays of solidarity with Palestine. The Independent reports that protesters advocating for Gaza have effectively shut down the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco and the Brooklyn Bridge in New York City. These actions are part of a global initiative, known as A-15, which aims to press for a ceasefire and halt U.S. military support for Israel's operations in Gaza. The movement calls for a worldwide economic blockade in solidarity with Palestine, demanding an arms embargo and the cessation of U.S. taxpayer funding for Israel, which amounts to nearly $4 billion annually, predominantly for military purposes. Echoing these sentiments, The Washington Post details a broader wave of pro-Palestinian protests sweeping across the United States. Demonstrators have taken to blocking major roads, highways, and bridges in cities including San Francisco, New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Miami, and San Antonio. These protests, part of a coordinated day of economic disruption, aim to draw attention to the Israel-Gaza conflict. Despite causing significant disruptions to traffic and daily routines, these protests have unfolded without significant violence. Activists leveraging social media have amplified their message, calling for an end to the violence and a re-evaluation of the U.S.'s role in the conflict. The juxtaposition of legislative action against Iran with grassroots demonstrations in support of Palestine paints a complex picture of the current geopolitical landscape. On one hand, the U.S. government is taking steps to penalize Iran for its aggression towards Israel, showcasing a continued commitment to its ally in the Middle East. On the other hand, a significant portion of the American public, along with global citizens, are vocally advocating for Palestinian rights and an end to the conflict in Gaza. These developments highlight the multifaceted nature of international relations and the diverse perspectives within the United States regarding its foreign policy and military engagements. As the situation evolves, the world watches closely, awaiting the outcomes of these legislative measures and public demonstrations, both of which have the potential to influence the course of events in the volatile Middle East region. In the swirling currents of global politics and economic perceptions, the landscape is marked by both subtle shifts and dramatic turns. A recent poll conducted by the Financial Times and Michigan's Ross School of Business, as reported by The Independent, reveals a fascinating twist in the American public's perception of the economy. Despite lingering concerns over inflation and the bite of gas prices on personal finances, about 4 in 10 registered voters are now rallying behind President Joe Biden's economic stewardship. This uptick of 5 percentage points since March could serve as a bulwark against the Republicans' critique, especially as the gears shift towards the 2024 general election. The narrative of an improving economy, even amidst the specter of inflation, adds a layer of complexity to the political chessboard, suggesting that economic realities and perceptions are not always in lockstep. Across the globe, as reported by The Washington Post, President Biden finds himself navigating a thorny path as he endeavors to influence the trajectory of the Israel-Gaza conflict. This delicate balancing act was further complicated by an unexpected variable, Iran's recent attack on Israel. This incident has injected a dose of unpredictability into Biden's diplomatic efforts, straining his push to prevent the conflict from spiraling into a wider conflagration. Despite his warnings to Israel about the urgent need to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the Iranian assault has led Biden to reaffirm America's ironclad defense commitment to Israel. The U.S. is now caught in a diplomatic tightrope walk, urging Israel to exercise restraint in the face of Iran's provocation while also navigating the fraught terrain of international politics, where support for Israel's defense coexists with criticism of its actions in Gaza. Complicating matters further, House Speaker Mike Johnson's recent strategic maneuver, as detailed by The Washington Post, introduces a new gambit into the complex web of international aid and geopolitical strategy. In an ambitious bid to navigate the intricacies of foreign policy, Johnson has proposed a plan that seeks to untangle aid for Israel from that for Ukraine, while also addressing conflicts in the Middle East and advancing separate votes for aid to Taiwan. This plan, which includes measures to satisfy Republican foreign policy demands such as the seizure of Russian assets, represents a bold attempt to chart a distinct course through the murky waters of international relations. However, with the slim GOP majority, the success of this plan hangs in the balance, requiring near-unanimous Republican support to pass through regular order. The unfolding narratives, from the domestic economic perceptions within the United States to the intricate dance of diplomacy and conflict on the global stage, underscore the complexity of navigating both public sentiment and international relations. The interplay between economic optimism at home and the challenges of foreign policy abroad paints a picture of a world in flux, where leaders must balance the immediate needs of their citizens with the broader imperatives of global stability and peace. As these stories continue to develop, they offer a glimpse into the multifaceted challenges that lie at the intersection of domestic politics and international diplomacy, where every decision can have far-reaching consequences. Maurice El-Medioni, a legendary Jewish Algerian pianist celebrated for blending the rich melodies of Jewish and Arab musical traditions, has passed away at the grand age of 95. Born in the heart of Algeria, El-Medioni was a vibrant symbol of the Jewish-Arab musical harmony that flourished in North Africa around the tumultuous times of World War II. He crafted a unique piano style that was a captivating mix of traditional Arab tunes, the lively beats of rumba, and the soulful essence of the Jewish-Arab Andalus heritage. In 1961, amidst rising tensions, El-Medioni found refuge in France, where he continued to share his music at weddings and bar mitzvahs. His remarkable journey and fusion of cultures were immortalized in the 1996 album Café Oran, a testament to his enduring legacy and the power of music to unite diverse worlds. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.